Welcome to Demo Day, where young innovators take the stage and showcase real-world projects to a global audience. At WEquil School, students learn to become innovators, teaching each other each week through their creations. WEquil app has thousands of novel and useful projects born out of our students' strengths, interests, and passions. But Demo Day is more than just a presentation. It's a celebration of innovation, collaboration, and the power of young minds. Join us on this incredible journey of inspiration as we witness the next generation of problem solvers and leaders. From Harvard professors to industry experts, our Demo Days attract incredible guest speakers who share their knowledge and ignite curiosity. Whether you're a young innovator looking to showcase your creations or a family seeking an extraordinary learning experience, Demo Day is here for you. Together, let's create a world where young minds flourish, ideas come to life, and innovation knows no boundaries. Join us for an unforgettable journey of learning, growth, and discovery. Welcome to Demo Day.
But it was great. This morning we had they were sharing a bunch of stories that they've been writing, and one of them said, I'm not an author.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you're writing a story. Doesn't that make you an author? And I don't know. It was a really powerful moment. It was great. The day before, she didn't even want to share her story at all. So I am finally meeting. Can you make me a co-host?
Yeah.
There's just a little bit of background noise. So if you're,
Hey, Aila, you need to make him a co-host.
can you make me a co-host, Aila?
Never mind. I'll just reclaim host and make him co-host. Okay, there you go.
This is why it's important to have a teenager at home at all times. So let's see, new folks. Let's go ahead and do some introductions. I am finally meeting Chris here after talking to him over Twitter Spaces now for 2 weeks. So maybe we could. Chris, do you want to actually? It's not fair, but I'm finally seeing your face in real time. So I'm selfishly going to put you on the spot to introduce yourself.
No, that's no problem. Hello, everyone. My name's Chris, founder of thelifeedge.com, and we are an educational platform that vets online courses, coaches, and mentors.
Wow, he's got his pitch down.
Short and sweet.
Beautiful. Yeah, so I just met Chris 2 weeks ago. Not even. It was on Monday, randomly, while doing a Twitter Spaces with Sumay about data analytics and startups. You know, you want to talk about an exciting topic. Woo! Right? And then all of a sudden these ed tech entrepreneurs start popping in, and Chris was one of them. And within a couple days, we're like, okay, we're just gonna do this every day of the week for like 2 months. And so we've been continuing that discussion. It's been really cool. And hey, we've got Nicole Horton. Hey, Nicole, how's it going? Welcome.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I've got my son with me, Tristan.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
How are you guys?
We're doing great. So we've been doing this, and maybe I'll kick it over to Sumay because you want to go ahead and just talk about what this is, and yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So we started this towards the beginning of the pandemic. Basically, my sister and I were creating a lot of projects based off of what we were learning about, and to kind of circumvent the need for teachers, grades, a structured curriculum, there needed to be some way of us to actually showcase what we were doing, what we were learning.
To prove to me that you weren't wasting your time like a bunch of kids.
Yeah, so kind of the way that we approached that was to essentially have us present our projects, not only in front of our parents, but also in front of our friends and other professionals, to have them kind of challenge us on our projects, give us feedback, ask us questions, And especially in the world today where you have ChatGPT and other tools where they can just kind of generate an article for you, then you kind of need to have some sort of forum where you're proving that you actually know what you're talking about, based off of interacting with other people, being able to answer questions, and that sort of thing.
How do I know you're not a deep fake, Sumay?
I don't know how to answer.
Yeah. She's right there. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Yeah, being able to actually have a conversation is funny because, like, I think this is actually something I was talking to Chris about on this Twitter space, was like, what is probably the fastest and most efficient way in which people are assessed? And I think it's conversations. So yeah, we have a lot of conversations. So that's kind of how that started. We stopped doing these and allowing other people to come into them after the fire. That was like 8 months ago. So we just started doing these again and letting folks come in. Chris doesn't even have kids, you know? It's like, what is he even doing in ed tech? Just kidding, sorry. But I think it's cool to share, and then that way we can like learn from other people, and it's pretty exciting. So let's see, should we
I have a
just
question.
presentation? Oh yeah, go ahead.
How old is Sumay?
Oh, I'm 13.
Okay. And how is it week? How
Oh yeah,
WEquil?
she's Aila.
Yeah, let me change my name. Yeah, Aila. I am 11 years old.
Awesome. Hi, Aila. And how old are you, Chloe?
I'm 10.
Awesome. And my son's 12, so they're all in a row here.
Yeah, and we had some bad coordination here. Like half of our learning pod is watching Guardians of the Galaxy at the Tyson AMC, and so
You said a
like,
movie, and I assumed it was in the evening.
yeah, we totally screwed up that.
Yeah.
But so you're missing some folks this week, but yeah. So we're here every week. The topic, maybe, do you want to just jump into topics and start doing some presentations?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.
So this week our theme is help your parents at work, essentially how kids can help their parents and actually get real world experiences through, working with their parents, having their parents include them in what they're doing. And so yeah, so Aila, do you want to first kick it off with your presentation?
Sure, let me pull it up. So my project is about how you can be helpful to your family, different ways you can do that. And so basically family is really as a really essential part of our lives, and being helpful to your family members are really important because you can contribute to the happiness and the well-being of your family. And so some kids might wonder, why do I want to be helpful to my family in the first place? Well, your family is like your team. And as a teammate, you play a big and important role in creating a supportive and positive home environment. And when you do things to be helpful, you're making your life easier for your family. You're freeing up their time. And when you do that, your family will do things to be helpful to you in return. So here I'm going to share with you some little and big ways that you can be helpful based as my own experiences as examples. So the first section is mental and physical health. So here are some ways that you can be helpful to your family's physical and mental health. One of the things that I do a lot is getting my family outside to exercise and play football and basketball and stuff like that. I love to think of new ways to have fun and exercise outside, so I'm uniquely positioned for this job. Another thing is that my sister is the person who's encouraging everyone to eat healthier in lots of different ways, like cooking lunch every day and grocery shopping. But I can also do my part in helping to cook and eating healthy too, and setting a good example. The second section is chores. While this might not be the most appealing of jobs, it does also have its great benefits. By doing chores, you are freeing up a lot of time for other people in your family to also help your family overall. My job is to do the dishes every day after lunch. Because my sister makes lunch, the least I can do is clean up afterwards. You can also do a lot of other things in terms of chores like sweeping the floor, taking out the trash, and cleaning up, etc. The third section, and probably the most enjoyable section, is ways you can help out leveraging your strengths. So, most families have different personalities, and mine is no exception. We are on the 4 sides of the spectrum in terms of personalities, and while this can get in the way sometimes because we're so different that we can disagree a lot, it can also be a great strength because we have so many different strengths and so many different ways that we can help out, that we can do a lot of great things because we have all of these different perceptions of the world. So your job is to think about what are your strengths and think about how you can leverage those strengths to come up with ways that you can help your family in ways that only you can do. So here is an example of how I did this. So we're building our new house, and my mom had a meeting with our interior design manager. So I was listening into this meeting, and they were talking about the cost of the hardwood floor for the living room. And it was a lot more expensive than the cost at Home Depot. At this point, I decided to jump in and keep in mind that I'm a little bit more direct in my communication than my mom. And because of that, I was able to be direct and ask for a discount on the hardwood floor, and we ended up getting a big discount. So I was able to do this because my personality is different than my mom, so that makes it easier for me to be more direct in my communication and do things like that. But I was only able to because we are all so different. So in summary, being helpful and more supportive to your family is very important for everyone's well-being as well as yours. Doing chores, promoting healthy habits, and using your strengths are all ways that you can be very, very helpful and contribute to a positive family environment. As a member of your team, you play a very big role in helping your family be more productive, be more efficient, and also be more happy. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Round of applause. So we're really big on rounds of applause. I know if it seems silly, it's again 3 years now we've been doing that. Actually, Chloe, would you like to share can you explain the feedback sandwich for people that are new?
So the feedback sandwich is basically imagine that the bread is basically positive feedback, like the ways your article or video or app was helpful, useful, basically anything that's positive. And then meat is not negative feedback, but more like constructive feedback. So how you can, so like basically ways people can improve on their article or video or whatever.
Excellent. So you've got the bread, and then you've got meat, and it's all a very important part of the sandwich, I think, you know.
But
So,
you're also beginning with your positive feedback and ending with positive feedback. So it's easier to hear the
So
constructive
the feedback's useful, but you also don't hurt the person's feelings.
so I could try as an example to Aila. So I don't hurt Aila's feelings, but I can still provide constructive feedback. Aila, great presentation, very articulate. One thing that you might do to spice things up is have like a couple visuals, even if it's just like it could even be like a picture of the tile that you found on Home Depot or something. It's like it's the same thing, but it's like, how much money did you save us, by the way? Hey, mommy,
Save us like $8,000.
all right, round of applause for Aila. Okay, and then my last part of the bread is thank you for saving our family $8,000. Appreciate that. Okay. In fact, you know what? Just forget the meat on this one. I'm just grateful that you saved us so much money. So anyway, that's my feedback, Sam. Any other feedback?
I think I can do a better job in making it related to kids helping parents. I think one of the big points is that like work and personal life shouldn't be super different. It just doesn't really make sense that it should be super different. So by combining them, just helping out in the family actually contributes a lot to helping your parents save time for work stuff and stuff like that. So while this may not seem like it's directly correlated with like work life as in like making money and stuff like that and your parents' jobs, it does help a lot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it definitely helps a lot. I don't even know if we'd be able to do stuff like this if you guys weren't so helpful. Go ahead, Nicole. Did you have a comment?
Yeah, Aila, first of all, that was impressive. Thank you. I think you're a good writer and you're well spoken. I think it could use a little bit of an attention getter, like maybe like a joke or an anecdote or something. So that's the meat. But great job.
See that? Whoop, just threw some bread under there. It's really good. Sumay, do you want to go next? And Sumay was sharing her project on the podcast this morning too, and I feel like it's useful to have early in the discussion because, like, the idea that kids can help their parents with work is something that I think may not even be something a lot of parents have thought of. But then she's got tons and tons of examples. So maybe you can go, and then we'll maybe Chloe after that.
Yeah, definitely. Let me just pull this up.
And we'll probably want to discuss that one for a bit too before Chloe.
Yeah. Okay. Let me just make this a bit bigger. But so essentially my project is covering why parents should include their kids in their work, as well as some practical ways that they can actually bring their kids in to aid them in whatever they're working on. And so many ancient societies used apprenticeships as a way of educating young people, including ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, medieval Europe, and China. And there are a lot of reasons why this was used in so many civilizations, including providing hands-on experience, personalized learning, career preparation, building relationships within the professional environment. And so today's traditional education system does not use apprenticeship, but parents opting out of this system have a lot of great opportunities in kind of providing those same benefits by including their children in their work. And so first off, why should kids help their parents at work? And so there are a lot of great things that come out of this. One is providing them with a real world experience, because their parents are kind of like out in the real world, then that's where kids are going to be. And it kind of seems reasonable to suggest that to prepare for the real world, you should have experience in the real world. And so, instead of kind of not actually having any experience and kind of having it just be some nebulous concept, then you can actually have that experience, which is also related to the next point, which is confidence. And so you can't really have a lot of confidence in your abilities if you've never tested them. And so if you've had experience in the real world, you can know that you are able to operate in that environment. And so some young people might have a superficial confidence in their skills that they learned in school, where they might be really good at taking tests and getting good grades, but it's a very different set of skills that are needed in the real world. And so the next two are also highly related, where if you're spending quality time with your parents while you're helping them with their work, and that also helps to ensure that it's a safe environment while you're interacting in the real world in this environment, just because being in the real world can be intimidating, unpredictable, and sometimes even dangerous. So if you're working with your parents, then it's much easier to mitigate that risk. And so this definitely sounds very nice, but for a lot of parents, it can be unclear as to how do I actually do this? And so here are some examples of, firstly, just talking to your kids about the decisions you're working through. And that can just by itself be an incredibly valuable learning experience for kids, having the just being able to think through the nuances of complicated decisions in the real world. And this can also be very valuable to parents, as explaining all the details of these issues and breaking it down simply so that your kids understand it, make it so that you have a better understanding of it yourself. And then the next is, even though kids might not have expertise in your particular area, pretty much every type of work involves working with others. And so you can talk to your kids about the interpersonal challenges that arise in your job and get their thoughts on how to solve this. Next is feedback on presentations and public speaking, such as if you're going to give a presentation, a lecture, asking for a promotion, then you can practice in front of your kids to get their feedback.
I love that one.
And if you're like an expert in your area, it can be really hard to remember what it's like not to know the things that you've known for so long. And so you can kind of pinpoint the places where you might be assuming other people already have a good idea of what you're talking about, and make it so that your presentation is simple and comprehensive for others. Then for entrepreneurial parents specifically, they have a lot of unique opportunities given the flexibility of what they do. And so one is with marketing, which is Chloe, her presentation is also related to this. But since young people are notoriously good at picking up new technologies, this can be a downside if they are consuming instead of creating content. But this provides a unique opportunity for parents who are entrepreneurs to kind of use that skill to make it so that young people can kind of channel that into something more constructive, such as helping their parents with marketing their business. Next is giving outside perspective. And when you've been doing something for a long time, especially running your own business, it can be really hard to get outside perspective of what you're doing. And so having your kids look over it, make sure it's simple, can make it really helpful for others in terms of making sure that when people look at what you do, they can quickly understand it. Lastly is conducting surveys to see if there's a real need for your product or service. And so having your kids go up to people at your local mall or park and asking a question related to your business to help understand how most people view the area that you're working in. And that can be incredibly valuable for kids to learn public speaking, meeting new people, and engaging with adults, which are, I mean, incredibly important skills that can pretty much only be learned through experience. And that can also be really helpful for parents as well. And
That's not hypothetical.
yeah.
These kids have done a lot of market research.
Yep. So I think that this is definitely something that is a very new concept, in kind of what a lot of parents kind of view. I need to take time away from my work to spend time with my kids, and I don't have time to juggle all of these things. And I think that there's a big kind of missed opportunity of how can I just combine them to really be efficient with my time. And really this can really help with in a lot of ways, and be even better than the alternative. And so yeah, it would be great to hear everyone's thoughts.
Yeah, let's take some time to talk through some of those examples. They're just like a lot of them. And I think she shared the link in the demo day room too to that project.
Yeah, I
so
did.
if anybody wants to review it, love to hear from. Was it Tristan? Did I get the name right? Nicole, your son?
Yes.
Tristan.
Yeah.
What do you think, man? I've been getting to know your mom a little bit from her comments. All I know so far is that she's smarter than me and she's an entrepreneur. So like, do you guys talk about what she's doing much at home, or?
About what Sumay is doing?
No, about your mom. Our topic is like, okay, so here's the dream, Tristan, just to try to level set with you. All right. You ever heard the terms like work-life balance is a problem, right?
Yeah.
Well, the dream is to like, well, what if I could actually be productive and do my work, but then also spend time with my kids? And obviously you can't do that for everything, but
So I kind of do that with him. So I built my school around being able to be at home with him and involving him. So like I think that whereas that might be unique for most people, that's kind of Tristan's normal.
oh, sweet. Well, that's awesome. So what do you do together? How do you guys collaborate?
Sometimes my mom will pull me over to the side and let me teach the kids who are a little further in the Spanish classes, or we're thinking of starting up a little coding program where I would teach coding to some kids in our homeschool group. And we also do martial arts together. We train for like tests and stuff. And I helped my mom train for martial arts tests and that kind of thing.
So all kinds of stuff. You're basically already doing a lot of the things that we're talking about. Round of applause, Tristan. Healthy mom. That's so great. See, they do exist. You know, I've been talking to my wife about trying to find more people that are doing things like that for 3 years. And only recently have we really found the right way of, I think, messaging or something to find them. But it's so great, isn't it? He doesn't know because he lives it every day. But okay, Tristan, here's what you don't know maybe is that there are millions of children. In fact, it's the default norm that have no clue what their parents do because their parents don't know how to talk to them about their work. And so it's just like, how was school today? Like, that's the default, in case you didn't know. So, yeah.
Didn't know that, no.
Now you know. Now you know. Anybody else here with kids that want to share, even if they don't have a project prepared? I'm always we're always very encouraging of kids to speak up and share. But we are recording though. So that's just keep that in mind. Other thoughts go ahead, Nicole.
I just want to say I love this concept. Tristan and I could totally use this. He needs more public speaking experience, and not only that, but not just him doing it because it's one thing because he's an only child. So if it's just him is presenting to our family, he doesn't see, other kids doing it and practicing giving that feedback. So this looks really positive. I'm glad to be a part of it.
For me to keep doing anything for 3 years or 3 days is like really an accomplishment, so yeah, it's been amazing for us, and I mean I think it's a big reason why Sumay and Aila get these opportunities to do public speaking in other contexts. They actually gave a lecture at Iowa State University last summer on like economics and economies of scale.
That's super impressive. Very cool.
Well, they just talk, they just have a lot of it definitely changes things to have an audience that isn't your parents. So yeah, you guys are welcome back here every week.
I joke with Tristan sometimes so he half grew up on college campuses because I had him when I was going to university. So like he was 3 when I was at UC San Diego, and I joke with him because when he was 3, he was invited to one of my child language acquisition classes, and he spoke completely confidently to a forum of like 250 college students. But not
so
recently.
Great. I mean, if you know your stuff, right, then there's no reason why you can't teach. I think that's another thing that was kind of shocking to me as I started exploring during the pandemic, was that the way schools are structured, they make it practically impossible for a student to ever teach anybody because they do such a great job of making everybody in the room homogenous, right? So it's like if you don't have anything like that, then it's very hard to have a teaching opportunity. Whereas kind of like the way we've been doing it, they've basically been teaching every week from the beginning because they're teaching Mom and I. And then others now. These end up being more like academic forums than like, oh, show up to your kids' play and then clap and stare at your phone. And I see another kid over here. Hey, is your name Jacob? I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good.
Where are you at? Where do you hail from?
California.
California. All right. So you're in the same time zone as Chloe, who's going to be giving our next presentation.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Well, welcome here. Do you find any of this interesting, Jacob?
Yeah.
Does your mom talk about work with you sometimes? You guys ever chat about it around the coffee table or something?
I think this is a topic right now about work, your parents' work.
We're talking about ways to engage, that parents can engage with their kids and kids can help or engage with work, because it's like, it seems like the low-hanging fruit on how to alleviate the work-life balance problem,
Right.
So I don't know, is that something that you find relevant? And sorry, what's
work-life balance? I don't think we have those. We don't have work-life balance.
What do you
There's
mean?
No balance.
Is that because it's so
like
overwhelming with one side?
Yeah, it's insane, but hopefully it gets better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you came to the right spot. Round of applause for just showing up. And we had a really long chat about it too this morning when I was talking to Chris. Sumay and I and Chris and a few other ed tech entrepreneurs went into this in depth. So if you haven't gotten enough today, you can go to that too. But yeah, there's just a lot of opportunity. I don't know, are there any other parents here? Like I know you, Nicole, I'll bet you've got a thought or two to share about how you've done this, because, Chloe does help you with a lot of things, and just conversing with you, that's so clear to me. But you know, kind of how did that become natural for you? How do you make it more natural? Because I bet a lot of adults just feel awkward trying to talk to their kid about their job.
I mean, I think I had from the beginning a more conversational parenting style with my son, for one thing. So I feel like our communication level is pretty good. But also so they're kind of like for a while, like going to university and having more traditional jobs worked for me, as long as Tristan, when he was younger, was in. It's funny because he was in more traditional school systems, but not in a traditional way, because he like went to traditional schools in like 3 different countries. But for a while that worked, and then like there came a point where that wasn't working out for him socially or academically, and I wasn't able to fix it within the system when he was in like 2nd grade. And okay, well, he's arguing with me because the grades, what grade he was in, skipped a little depending on what country we were in, but like matching to the American system, he would have been in 2nd grade. Anyways, what was
I love what you said about conversational, and it's funny because when I said Nicole, I actually meant both you and Kassier simultaneously. So I'm excited. I'd love to hear from her too, but because I'll bet she does the same thing. She just spends a lot of time talking to her kids.
Yeah,
having conversations.
So I guess when like the traditional model stopped working, though, even though it wasn't, I feel like we did a traditional model on a level, but in a non-traditional way. But like when that stopped working, then I just realized that I needed to homeschool him, and so I just kind of like stopped and reassessed and was like, okay, I'm gonna reinvent myself and use my skills to work in a way that allows me to be at home and spend more time with him and just really give him what he needs. And actually, I was inspired I was in some non-traditional homeschooling groups, world schoolers, that talked a lot about like what they were doing and how they created careers that allowed them to, travel around the world with their kids. I'm a single mom. I followed like a single mom who created a whole career out of it. And so that just kind of, I guess, gave me encouragement that I was capable and that I could do that. And so I just moved forward from there and created it.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. I mean, I love it. I love every bit of it. I also think that there's so many ways to do that. And so getting ideas from other parents that are trying to do things like that is really cool. The other one is I think it's way easier for kids to see other kids that are doing things like that too, because like this morning, for example, there were my daughters were sharing stories with a few of the other girls that are in our learning pod but didn't show up because they decided to go watch the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie without us and skip out on demo day. I'm not upset about that at all. But they were all sharing their stories, and when they were doing it by themselves, well, they weren't really getting anywhere super fast, and it wasn't as much fun. But as soon as they got to read the first chapter and the epilogues to each other, then they were having a great time, and it was like past lunch, and it was like, come on, we need to stop, so yeah, it's great. Hey Chloe, I know we've been just chatting a whole bunch here because there were just so many things that Sumay spit out. I wanted to give folks a chance to talk about it, but are you ready to share your project?
Sure. Just a warning. My video is, I haven't edited my video, so it's not the highest quality.
Oh, how long is your video, by the way?
like 5 minutes. Oops.
5
Yeah,
minutes.
it is her
The
presentation.
thing up.
The video is her presentation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
Okay, let me just bring this. I forgot to bring it
Hey.
up.
Chloe, I can share it on my end.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Sumay's technical support. Legendary.
Hi, my name is Chloe, and today I will be showing you how to create social media posts for your business. So, a few things to keep in mind. A few points to keep in mind before you create a social media post are you might want to so the point of social media is basically marketing and engagement. Marketing is basically where you tell people what your business is about and maybe who you are about. Engaging is basically, well, you want people to like your post and you want your people to comment on your posts. So that if they do that, that probably means that your post is engaging. So the second point is you want to have very focused keywords. Otherwise, people who will search up all these keywords and they'll see your posts and all those searches and be like, oh, your business must be about all these things, when really it's not. So the third point is that good social media posts probably are eye-catching, entertaining, new or novel, and provocative, because those all want to make people click on your posts and like your posts and comment on your posts. So as an example, I will show you how I used those guidelines to help my mom create social media posts from her business. So basically the 3 C's are content, Canva, and calendar. So this is the content, the useful information in a post. So this is my prompt right here, and these are all the quotes and a few more here. So those are what I will be putting in the post, the actual useful part of the posts. Next is Canva, or the design, but this is basically how you want your posts to look, the design of your posts. So as you can see, I put the quotes right here in here. These two have the same, and if you're wondering, these two have the same design because since Instagram posts in sets of 3, you want to have 2 identical posts surrounding a post with on either side of a post with a different design. As you can see, there's all of these have the same thing. Same design, different design. Same design, different design, same design. And so this is a fully published Instagram posts. And if you want to post on Instagram, you can just click create and just host and you can also do a lot. You also need to be like, okay, same, and then you do it different and then the same, so it eventually looks like that, like this. So that's a few important points to keep in mind, and when creating a before you create a social media post. And just really quick, how to create a social media post on Instagram. Thanks for watching.
That is so cool.
A comment.
Go ahead, Aila.
I've got a big old baguette. So I think that it is so cool that you are making Instagram social media posts for your mom, for her work. I mean, you're just like sitting there and presenting it, and you're like so chill. Like, this is like just a normal day. But it's really, really amazing that you're doing that. And it's also really, really, like, haven't really seen anyone doing that much outside of the family. So I think it's really amazing that you're doing that, and that you're making a video, you're making a presentation to show the other kids how to do it too.
And using ChatGPT.
Yeah, when I saw
so
that,
cool.
I started freaking out.
So we had our, what was it, 2 weeks ago? We had our ChatGPT demo day.
Mm-hmm.
And we said we're never going to do another ChatGPT demo day because doing that would be like the equivalent of doing a Google demo day or an internet demo day.
And I got a really good idea got really good ideas from that, because when I was doing a lot of marketing for WEquil School on all these platforms, I did often do like quotes from people in the education space, to try to like showing that a lot of people are communicating the same things that we are. And so I would just be before ChatGPT, I would just be trying to Google stuff, trying to find the right quotes. I would like remember a quote that I had heard before and be trying to like Google it, and it took me so long. So those are some really great ideas as well.
Now, whose idea was this for you to become like social media marketing executive for mom? Do you guys just come up with this spontaneously together, or?
Yeah.
Oh, one more.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. So I actually run two businesses. One is a coaching practice and another is a med tech consultancy. And you know,
I was doing the Reliant coaching business.
Yeah, the different businesses go through different waves, right? And you know, I've recently, the med tech business has just taken off, but I didn't want to leave the coaching business stale. And so there was just an opportunity for her to keep some activity and engagement up for my followers on the coaching side of things while I was focused on something else, so that, you know, it wasn't, I mean, I could have hired a virtual assistant and all that kind of stuff, but she liked to do it. So I said, let's do it.
Yeah. And it's really fun to do also. You just need to go on ChatGPT and be like, give me 5 quotes, or give me like 5 provocative questions that would be good to publish about this topic, and then just copy that down in Canva and publish it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Eventually that might get boring. You know, I think it's one of the challenges for parents if they're looking at this and they might think like, okay, how does that work? How does that happen? And I think one of those that, I know Nicole pretty well, and she doesn't force things on Chloe. she'll have lots of ideas, and she'll be like, "Hey, does this seem cool? You know, what do you think about this?" And sometimes Chloe's like, "Nah." Sometimes Chloe's like, "Ah," and that's great. And I guess those things can evolve. Like, how do you think that this might evolve, Chloe? Like, you probably don't want to be doing ChatGPT quotes on Instagram. You know, like right now, it's new, it's exciting, but like, you know, do you see that maybe evolving over time? Like, what happens if people start writing comments saying, "Hey, I need a coach" or something? Like, is there avenue to progress within that? Is this just the beginning?
Well,
What else are you helping me with? You're helping me with slides.
Oh yeah, slides. Like training courses for her business.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so like educational slides, like the actual like materials on, oh, here's some of the meat of the business.
Yeah.
So then Chloe's starting to teach that, but in the process, I'm guessing she's probably going to learn a lot about executive coaching too, which is sweet.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yep.
Any other comments for Chloe? Questions? Feedback? Sandwich? What do you think, Tristan? Go for it, man.
How did you guys get into ChatGPT?
Sumay.
I watched the Marquis Brownlee video that came out, I think in December. I don't really remember that well, but I basically started freaking out and made everyone watch the video, and we've been using it every day since. But yeah, pretty much that's how it went. But yeah.
Yeah, we had that was another discussion that I had with Chris and Sumay and a bunch of these other ed tech entrepreneurs. If anybody's interested, I still need to rip the recording and stick it on YouTube, but it's on Twitter Spaces. I'm WEquil, JOEWEQ. I'll just put the link. Actually, could you drop the link to that chat sheet? Thank you. She's
I don't know if it's the same one, but I know you sent a video about using ChatGPT. Is that a different video?
We've done a lot. We've probably done like 6 or 7 live streams or YouTube videos and projects on the subject because it's rather, well, it's really important. It's kind of like basically your IQ can go up by like, 10, 20 points. You can just do things so much fast, and there's so many other ways to use it. That's the thing. So my background being in machine learning, I think gave me some help in terms of knowing how to prompt engineer. So I was just doing tons and tons of experimentation and prompt engineering different kinds of problems. And so, like one example being that we, as a family, I constructed a prompt engineer that let us all play Dungeons and Dragons together with ChatGPT as the dungeon master. Like it was hard to do. I mean, it was like a 3-paragraph, very detailed prompt to get it to act right. But you can do some extremely creative, powerful things. It was writing a story combining Star Wars with Harry Potter. There's another prompt that I set up that basically allowed it to start writing page by page how to create a fictional story leveraging these two together. And then it was just boom, 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 and it like 20 pages in 5 minutes. And it was actually really good. So yeah, there's a ton there. I think that my wife and daughters, they started an AI club on WEquil app where they were sharing a bunch of these projects and other tools and insights. So that's like a repository. Basically, if we get really excited about something, we spin up a club and start like dumping resources and projects about it. So yeah, lots there. Sorry, that was long. Any other thoughts for Chloe? I mean, it's just amazing, Chloe. I'm so excited to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Um,
I would say just the only thing is kind of like how with a lot of marketing, it basically just requires consistency across pretty much all these platforms. And so kind of as a kid, when you're thinking about what do I want to do, you're gonna have changing interests. That can sometimes be something that isn't necessarily like the best in terms of growing followers, kind of like with your changing interests and maybe dropping in and out of things, but is better in terms of your development, just having a diverse educational experience, a diverse life experience. And so for me, I started a YouTube channel where I was like posting cooking videos and I was doing it every day. And then I just stopped because I was like, I kind of get what this is all about. You post more videos, you get more followers, but I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
You don't?
So I would be interested in hearing anyone's thoughts on like how to manage those sort of things. And yeah.
Well, I think one thing that's really important if you're engaging kids with any kind of serious work is that there's lots and lots of opportunity for them to iterate, pivot, and exit, because I don't know, we've met some kid entrepreneurs that, like, I'm sure they're going to be fine, but we just got a really strong sense from their parents that they were just pressuring them to stick with something, kind of like Battle Hymn of the Tiger Mother would force her kids to like play piano or violin 3 hours a day. And I think was it you, Nicole, I was talking to on Facebook about this. It was like, this is not necessarily even helpful, right? It's like you got one yo-yo ma, and then everybody else that plays the cello is like hopefully having fun doing it. But if you really want to help kids get excited about this stuff, then forcing them to do it is like the first way to make them hate it, So I think that having that flexibility is really important, and giving them lots of ideas and helping them see how they can iterate and grow. That's why I'm already talking to Chloe about what happens next, right? So, because it's just going to be a matter of time before we want to learn something new, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's where kids need a lot of help from I think more experienced adults, parents, other kids, to bounce those ideas and start to explore all the different ways that they can grow within the opportunity, instead of saying, oh, I'm bored with this, and then they just like completely stop. And it's like, well, we don't necessarily want that outcome either, right?
Yeah. Well, if you guys have read Angela Duckworth's Grit, she had a tiger dad. And the way she and her husband have done things with their kids is the kids commit to something, but they commit to it for a certain amount of time, right? So rather than, the violin practice 3 hours a day forever and ever, amen, it's this idea that there is a certain time frame, there's an end in sight if you don't want to continue doing it forever, but it does get the kids to push through that difficult phase and potentially see value on the other side of that. And so, yeah, that might be a, part of the social media management. It's going to be super exciting at first, and there's all these things that we can do.
Oh man, Sumay's channel is so cool too. Like these cooking videos, I still go back and watch them. It's
totally
just beautiful. And it's like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I benefit a lot from Sumay and Aila. They're like my best advisors. So I'll talk to them about a problem at work and how I'm trying to solve it. And usually they come up something really helpful or better, and I would just implement it. And I will tell them how it works out for me. And So, as my work evolves and the problem I face also evolves, and then their advisory evolves with me. So I found that to be extremely fortunate.
This is related, I promise. As parents, who here has ever had an argument with your spouse in front of your kid? Or just was arguing on the phone in front of your kid when they were younger? Anybody? All right. So I think that, so we did, and it wasn't always comfortable. Sometimes it was awkward. But I think seeing the way that my wife and I were trying to negotiate through some disagreement was giving them a lot of data, about like how to work with somebody else. Because like, running a house is like, that's like work, you're not necessarily trying to make money. It's like you're trying to make memories, hopefully happy ones. But I think that the, what was it? Nicole Horton was saying earlier about like engaging in discussion with kids. Oh man, like just asking them their opinions about stuff and having that back and forth. Like so much of the problems that people deal with at work is just like relationship things. So yeah, it's been interesting because Isla's desk is actually in mommy's office area after the firehouse burned down 8 months ago. I don't know if you know, but we're fine now. Everything's fine now. But we're in this apartment. It's very, very small. And so I'll hear them where mommy's like, hey, I'm dealing with this issue, Aila. What do you think? And Aila will be like, oh, whoa, such and such and such. And they're just like talking it through strategy. It's like so cool. Because otherwise, like what? She'd be 18, 22 before she ever gets any exposure to that kind of work environment challenge. I mean, wow, she's getting an early start. Okay, yeah, go ahead. I think we're switching over into the meet and greet part, so we might go after Nicole Horton if you have a comment, and then we might go